Welcome to this video. I thought I should make this video about how I plan to make 50K per month in 2026 and maybe 2027. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't really have like true expectations, but I just want to outline my story publicly so that you guys can have an idea of how this looks like. So let's dive into it. So my plan to hit 50K per month in profit working only 4 hours per day. I'll give you some history on who I used to be and why that, like doing that stuff, like agency stuff, consulting, SaaS, tech, it's not worth it, and you'll sort of see. So in 2022 to 2024, I actually worked at an agency with another co-founder. It was like 15 sales calls a day. I was mainly the sales person, and then I did some service delivery, but then he also did some service delivery. You can see how this mismatch of flow in terms of like the workload could stress you out. So like my current business that I'm going to run right now that I'll show you in a bit is like, we want to minimize this as much as possible. Because I know you guys, if you guys are building a business or you have built a business, you know that you think that doing more sales will make you more money. Yes, it does. But the problem is that if you don't have the fundamental back end to offer or the back end system to actually operate the system, it will literally like break apart. And you'll be burnt out. You won't see your family. You won't see your friends. You won't see anybody. You'll be drinking coffee, like give or take, I don't know, every single day. Your health will decline, and you can see how it gets worse. So in 2021 to 2024 as well, at the same time, this was so dumb of me, but I don't listen to advice from, I'm sure you've heard like common advice to focus on one business. I didn't do that. So I built a SaaS tech startup with another co-founder, and I burnt out within like 9 months. So like this was like a food delivery SaaS for US and Canadian clients. We mainly got our clients through outbound. I got the initial 40 clients to join this tech startup in the first like 6 to 8 months. But then after 9 months, I literally had to quit because I was burning out. And if you know what true burnout feels like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you know that you don't see your family, you don't see your friends, you don't go outside, you're like a monk, basically. So in 2021 2021 and 2019, before I built this SaaS startup, before I jumped into the agency space, I also built a e-com brand on Amazon FBA. But the problem was, this is like when COVID hit, and my inventory like literally fell off the ship. And this was one of the worst moments in my business, or in my career, I guess you could say. I don't know, whatever you call it. I felt like, oh, what should I do at this point? And I had to freelance or like pivot to freelancing or pivot into something else like consulting and stuff like that. And I did find those ventures fun, but they're not that fun. Like dealing with clients all day and like doing sales meetings, like I understand where the idea comes from, but yeah, that was the moment where I realized that Amazon FBA or ecom was like, hey, it works, but like, I couldn't even send like 400 units to specific warehouses for my 3PL when I was doing this business. I literally had so much inventory from my supplier in China, and then like I could not separate it. And then 2018 to 2019, I was door knocking for mobile companies. This is like when I first started in sales and business. Like I literally had no idea. And then at this point, I remember that most people try to put me into an MLM, multi-level marketing. Like they literally just try to shove you in there, and we all know where that goes, right? So as you can see, it's very stressful. I've been through a lot, and people will ask me, am I happy, am I satisfied, or am I pleased? I'll be honest, I don't know. I can't give you an answer right now. But I know that the type of business I want to build right now is going to reduce all this problem or all this stuff. So no more sales meetings. That's sort of what I don't want to do. I'm going to work 4 hours a day. Again, it's not like I can't work more. I can. But if you understand business, guys, if you've been doing it for a while, you understand it's all energy. It's all energy and focus. So if you have energy and focus, those are the two most, like, the main components to your business to the growth of it. No more team members, just one VA and myself. I contradicted this statement because I actually have a team right now. But like, I was like, might as well make a team, right? Because I was like, it'll be better. But that's for that. I might do that later. No complicated sales process, just a single DM or email. I want to keep the process very lean. In a business that I run and the business that I want to run, is that I want a lean business. I don't want like something with like 100 clients and like trying to fulfill all of them. It's a headache, and if you've been there, you know what I mean. And then you have to hire like VAs or like other people, operators, admin. Like I had admin before, And we had it with the other co-founder at a SaaS tech startup. It was hell to deal with like service delivery because we would talk to like 10, 20 different clients a day, and it just sucked. And I call this like quote unquote digital freedom at the time that I made this, but I've been, jumping more to digital leaders or like digital operators in terms of calling it a specific type of name. But that's what I have in mind. So this is what I must do for this to work. So attracting the right audience with the right content. So when I'm talking about right content, I'm talking about like insight versus value. And if you guys ever studied like, value-based content, how to make 10K per month, it's useless. Because most people will like be like, oh, like they're making less than 10K per month. But then there's people that are like, instead of saying how to make 10K per month, what you should say is like, how do you maintain the current revenue that you're making right now, like 20 to 30K per month? And that shows people more insights. And when you have insight, you actually attract more whales versus fishes. So I do not chase prospects. I only track the perfect ones. And if you go through my timeline, all my X, you'll see what I mean. Because I get people that come into my environment. They're absorbed and influenced into it. So this here. Second, always ask people to join my newsletter at Digital Freedom. Again, digital leaders or digital operators. I'm trying to think of a very great name for this right now, and eventually I will figure it out by the end of this year. But yeah, so if you guys want to join, again, newsletter, just gonna put a plug here. It's down below. Join if you want to. It'll show you exactly what I've been doing. 3 clear offer structures that sell themselves, or number 3, and clear offer structures that sell themselves. So at the end of the day, right, like, a good offer works and an exceptional one sells. So what I'm talking about here is that people will buy your offers, like they'll buy a great offer. But the thing is, if it's not clear enough in terms of like what you're selling and what you're doing, actually I've realized that most prospects, they actually don't buy it. And it's pretty like interesting to see that people actually like transact with you just by buying into something that's more clear. Like people will buy things that are more clear versus buying things that are just very irresistible. So like if you give them like all these XYZ benefits for their offer, or you sell them all these things, it's great. But the thing is that if it's not clear, it's useless. So 4th is like grow a private community via Discord. I was thinking about doing this. I don't know if I should. I might. I don't think I will. But this is the thought that I had when I was making this post. Like I think it was like 6 months ago. But like I think private communities are useful for the right type of audience, but they're not going to be useful to people that are making like 10K plus per month. They just don't have the time to be on a community server to actually talk to you. They rather, either talk to you for like 10 minutes per month about what they're doing, and then, just manage the system, because it's way easier, first of all. Second of all, it's less of a headache, less stress, less thinking, and they can just work. And that's usually what I've seen. 5th, cash flow sustainability while working less than 4 hours per day. The thing is that when I ran all those other companies, thing is like my cash flow would jump up, jump down, jump up, jump down, jump up, jump down. And it was like very, very stressful. Like I remember running it. I mean, I've done all those things and it really, really sucks. And for sustainability, what I found is that if you change your offers from monthly to weekly, you actually make more in the front end, but the whole goal is not to make more in the front end. The whole goal is actually make more money in the back end when you're able to systemize the process and your process actually just works. 6, sell without doing sale meetings. This is what I do with DM offers, and it's very, very simple to do DM offers. If you know what to say, you have the right scripts, but you also know exactly how to point prospects to the right direction of where they need to go. And if you're wondering how I do this, just go through my timeline on X, or I just post a screenshot on the screen here so you can see what I mean. 7, invest and pivot every 24 months. What I'm talking about here is just learning. Founders, again, the cliche is that they're only good as their systems, or whatever it's called. Like, I'm probably butchering it, but like, they're only great as their systems are in terms of like how it functions and how it operates. So if you're not knowledgeable as a founder, you're not growing, you're not going to get better. If you're not going to get better, you're not going to go anywhere. At the end of the day, right, like what I'm talking about here is like, I want to like have low ticket offers in the front end, have like a big list of customers, and then eventually sell them into client offers. And this is what I found to be very useful. And my face is very dark because of this light, but that's what I've been seeing lately is like, we do monthly offers, which are they're helpful. Yes, don't get me wrong, they're helpful. But the problem is that, you know, is it more persuasive, you know, in terms of like getting someone in for like 3K, and that's only like 5 to 10% of your audience, versus like 95% of your audience pays for a low ticket offer? Because at the end of the day, I feel like people just want the first win. So like if you help them just get their first win in the first like month, they're more likely to stay with you for long periods. And that's what I've noticed with this type of business model. It's like you need to make sure that you have the right variables in the front, and then in the back, right, you got to make sure that that system is able to produce results for them. And once they're able to just produce a result, they're going to be able to get to where they want to be, as long as you're clear in terms of where they're going. 9th, being responsible. And you're probably going to be like, oh my God, Josh, why does this matter? Well, it matters to me, man. Like my health, my family, people, friends, etc. The time period I've been in business, right, and doing all those things, what I've realized is that I've neglected everyone in my life. My family, I don't see them often. My friends, I don't see them often. You know, my health went to shit. Like, I can guarantee, if you've worked at a startup, you've been at a startup, or you know, you're working on one right now, you're working 16 hours a day. You're probably locked in your closet somewhere, or you're locked somewhere, you know, give or take, and you're like, shit, what do I do? If you're sitting there for like 16 hours, the problem is that what I've realized about business is that it's all about energy, flow, and ideas. The thing is, ideas sell the most, they sell the easiest, versus selling like, you know, your offer. Your offer is just a transaction. It's just like people just make money off of that. But what you're actually selling is the idea of what you're selling. The idea actually just influences people more to get them in. And once they're in and they're bought into the idea, they're more likely to transact with you over time. And the whole goal is just to get people in through a customer funnel, and then eventually upsell them into a client funnel. If you know what you're doing, you know exactly what to say. So that's sort of my 9th principle right there. So if you're confused about exactly what I've actually done, like here's some proof. Product sales, like this is like when Amazon FBA had its own like old, I don't know how it looks like now. I know that's different though. I know it looks the interface looks completely different, but this is how it looked like back then. As you can see, I was like I was making cash flow, but like it wasn't like great, you know, like it's cool making 2 to 3K, but it's nothing. Remaining dollars, this is like something I did like right after, like 3 months in. I was like doing like freelance consulting. I was like, hey, might as well try it, right? Oh no, it's not for me. It's not for me. But now I want to give you guys an update of my current business and what's actually happening. So as you can see, I actually hired my team. I'm like literally contradicting my own statement because I wasn't too sure. I was like, hey, maybe we should just try it out to see who can actually join who. Right now we have like 25 people inside, around 3 closers, 20 to 15 setters, quite a lot. As you can see, this is sort of how I set up the group. If you're wondering, you know, if you're trying to set up a team, do this on Discord. Helps you a lot. Again, still some more team. Also, randomly, like a few weeks ago, I met the founder of the DM AI tool that we're using for our clients and our prospects. So if you're wondering how that works, right, just go on here and figure it out yourself. You guys can let me know in the comments on how you feel about this, but this is my story. This is how we're getting started. This is where we're going. So if you have like questions about your business and your agency or whatever it is, like you're trying to build an SMMA or trying to get clients, trying to like do consulting, etc., I can just show you a customer offer of what we do, and you can see if that makes sense for you. But at the end of the day, just remember, again, as always, I cap spots. I don't let you guys say, you know, maybes. I don't tolerate prospects that don't actually have an idea of what they want. To an extent, you have to know what you're doing, and then I will show you, and then I'll guide you, and then you can see. And if that makes sense, then we can, you know, obviously transact the offer and we can go through with that. But if that does not make sense, then we don't have to. Anyways, subscribe, like, and do what you need for this channel. I don't care if this grows or doesn't. I'm not here for virality. I'm here for clients, and I'm here for control in terms of like, you know, specific clients and prospects, so that we can actually transact and we actually work together versus the masses. I don't care about 100,000 followers. I care about the, you know, 1,000 followers that actually like me. Anyways, take care and cheers, guys.